I will tell you, I was terrified. Okay, I think that's a good thing. We all have the exact same time during the day. It's just what we choose to do with it. Stick it out, work it out, and figure it out. That should be on an Instagram. Holy crap, man. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Change those 5 people. Stop answering their phone calls. Hi, and welcome to the Ellory Wells Show. It is December. I think it's December 1st, actually, today. But it doesn't matter what day I'm recording this. What matters is these are the responses of the entire community over the last 12 months. I've done something like this the last 3 years. I had 2013, 2014, and 2015. And the number of responses of community members, people who read the blog, listen to the podcast, has not quite doubled every year, but it's amazing to see the responses of people who consume my content, who listen, who watch, or who read the blog. So I'm really excited. Last year I did this the first time, where I went through all of the survey responses and kind of shared my reaction to them. And I thought I would do the exact same thing. I've got a camera here. I've got this camera, one of these set up on the cell phone. I'm doing something a little bit different. It's a little bit more technical to see how well it works. The only reason why I mention this is I've got a $75 camera, a $60 microphone. I think the pop filter's $10. This is an old cell phone right here. What I'm pointing to, there's the camera. What I'm pointing to and what you see me looking at right now is just an old cell phone. It's a Galaxy S4. Instead of trading it in, I used it for this. I kept it. So you can do the exact same thing with all of your technology as well. So I just wanted to make this known, make it available to you so that you know you can use stuff that you have around the house. And honestly, we're talking, I don't know what that adds up to, less than $200, and you're getting some decent video. Hopefully it's decent video. And then we, of course, edit it in Camtasia, and by we, I mean I edit it in Camtasia. Ashley sometimes helps me edit the podcast, but I don't know if I've ever even shown her Camtasia. So we're talking not a whole lot of money, and you can get some pretty decent results, but that's not the point. I want to share the results of the community today. This is the Ellory Wells Show, and these are our people who have been following me hopefully for a long time. So if you are listening to this at any point in time, as soon as you hear this, the link will be changed, the updated information will be right there. If you go to ellorywells.com/survey, ellorywells.com/survey, you can take the current version of the survey. And here's what I want you to be honest. If I'm not providing the most valuable information or the most relevant information, let me know. Let me know what you need. I glance at the survey responses throughout the year and try to make pivots or make changes over time to make sure I'm delivering the most relevant information possible. But I don't necessarily change everything that I'm doing. The reason why I'm mentioning that is I want to provide the most information, or the best, most relevant information to you as you go throughout the year, and as you are wherever you are on your journey to start a podcast, start a blog, grow your business, take your offline business and add online components, those kinds of things. I was working with a guy who came out to do some sprinkler systems yesterday, and he was very interested in adding online bits to his business. We're talking about email lists and those kinds of things. So whatever it is, I want to make sure I'm giving and delivering the most relevant and timely information possible. So go to ellorywells.com/survey. And you can take the most recent version of what we're about to share today. So let's dive right in. Let's see what community members, readers, watchers, viewers, and listeners like you have had to say about ellorywells.com, the Empowered Podcast, which has now been retired, and everything else that I have done, emails, all of that. So let's go right in. So I think as far as gender goes, we are about the same as we were last year. 62% male. Men, I don't know why I said male. That sounds oddly official. And 37.5% female. The average age, let's see, it doesn't give me averages necessarily, but we're looking at the largest percentage of people being between the ages of 35 and 44. If you combine 25 to 54, which is honestly my demographic, I know that going into it. So 25 to 54 is, what is the math here? 84% of you guys. 84% of you fall between the ages of 25 and 34, and most of you, that probably, and then over half of you guys are men. So how smart are you? Or how educated are you? 54% of you have a 4-year college degree. Let's see, some high school, but no diploma, less than 5%. So most of you guys have gone to college. And I'm kind of curious to see what you guys study. My degree's in psychology, and I use that every day, but I'm not a clinical psychologist or psychiatrist or any of those kinds of things. I'm not a practicing psychologist. I use it in my coaching business, but I am not that. So I'm kind of curious to see if you guys are using your degrees. And that'd be kind of interesting to know. So here's the question. Here's the first big mega question that I use to change the direction of the show of the brand, the lifestyle business as a whole. How do you consume how do you consume the content that I, Ellory, provide? So not everyone answered this question. That's all right. The most popular answer, let's see if I can sort these. Sort ascending. That's not what I want. Sort descending. The number one most popular way that people consume the content that I create is I read the blog on my phone while on the go. Well, that's interesting. I've never sorted by most popular things. I read the blog on my phone while on the go. 43% of people said that. 35, the number 2, so down 8%, I listen to the podcast on my phone. I listen to the podcast while doing another activity. And we may have some responses there because I asked people to tell. Here's what I want to point out. And people could use different things here. The two most popular are people saying that they listen on their phone. Yes, people read the blog at work. They read the blog on their phones, but mobile is becoming more and more popular. Well, I think we probably knew that, but those are some statistics. I read the blog on my phone while on the go. 43% of people who took the survey said that. So here's something else to note. A while ago, I took off the sidebar on my blog posts. It's not there anymore. People wondered why. Well, here's why. On phones, the sidebar doesn't show up anyway. My site's mobile responsive, and the sidebar is going to be, granted, it's not on there at all. So if you're putting that information out there and people are viewing your blog or reading your newsletter or whatever on their phones, they're not going to see it anyway. And it provides a cleaner look, I think, on the blog. So just something to keep in mind. Let's see. What were the comments? I read the blog at home on my laptop. I haven't read much of your blog or listened to any of your podcasts. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the survey anyway. Getting my steps in and banding mail. I think I know who said that. Must work in a mail sorting facility. Driving. I read the emails, then read the blog from my computer at home. I've listened to most of one podcast from Ellory's site. Okay, so it must have been not one of the listeners. Here's something interesting. I just employed just deployed the smart podcast player from Pat Flynn. So if you go to empoweredpodcast.com or if you go to ellorywells.com/show, you will now see a really cool player. You can speed up episodes. If I'm from the South, so I think I talk slower than some people who are out there. But if you want to speed up those episodes, you can do that. If you want to download them for later, you can do that. If you go to ellorywells.com/show, you can see that. Someone reads while driving or doing other work activities. Email on my laptop. That's what they're doing, exercising or driving, working and exercising. Commute. I only came to purchase a couple of icons. Okay, so a tool that I created. If you go to ellorywells.com/store, I think they're just a couple bucks, but they're the icons, the social icons that I created. I saw somebody out there and they were charging $20 or $30. I thought that's ridiculous. So if you go to ellorywells.com/store, I believe, and you like the social icons, they're just a couple bucks. Digital delivery for you. Someone reads while driving, working out, sitting in the hot tub, all the usual places. That's awesome. Woohoo! He tweets me when he hears about Rich Bitch. Now that was a Nicole Lappin interview. I wonder if that's Nicole's. Nicole took that. I don't know. These are anonymous, so if you're worried, I don't know. Listening, driving back and forth to work. I read blog posts you share on Facebook on my personal computer, which is also my work computer since I work for myself. Awesome. We have an entrepreneur out there, or at least someone who says that they work for themselves, which is good. I listen to your podcast at work and running. Okay, how did you first hear about my blog? Now, I want you to pay particular attention because if I have been talking about this a little bit. Why did I change the name of the show from the Empowered Podcast to the Ellory Wells Show? Why did I start over? Why did I do something else? Why did I brand again around my name instead of doing something else with Ellory Wells, as in the Empowered Podcast with Ellory Wells? This question ties directly into that. How did you first hear about my blog? 32%, the largest percentage of answers through the recommendation of a friend. And a few years ago, when I was using a different brand and a different URL, people were finding me on search by searching for my name. So I have the analytics to back this up, but that's why part of the reason why I branded around the Ellory Wells Show. Here we're getting a little bit of statistics, a little bit of data for you. So if you're out there and you're trying to figure out branding or something like that, that's why I branded around the Ellory Wells Show, is because most people, or at least the largest percentage of people, found me through the recommendation of a friend. And then whenever I surveyed other people and asked, how do you find new podcasts? Same result. Through the recommendation of a friend or through hearing about a particular show on a show they're already listening to. So let's sort these here by results. Number 1, through the recommendation of a friend. Number 28% from a link on another blog or a website. 16% both said Twitter or Facebook. 8% while searching Google, which is interesting because I get about 50%, 55% of my traffic through Google search. Let's see what comments were here. I met you in person. Someone listens through the Podcast Addict app. I don't remember. I think it was a link from a friend on Facebook. I can't remember. Podcast Movement pre-advertisement. Jared easily told me about you on Twitter. Thank you, Jared. Meeting you in person. I don't remember. Can't remember. But it was during New Media Expo 2014. I met you at a conference through a mastermind. They know me through the Alpha Man podcast with Ted Rice, which, thanks, Ted. I got a coaching client through that, by the way. I don't remember. Sorry. I'm glad to have found it. Oh, I'm glad you found it too. I think I must have heard you on another podcast, but I can't remember which. He Starved the Doubts with Jared Easley through Jimmy Burgess. Gosh, I don't remember. I met you in the flesh through meetups and from your podcast. So a variety of things there. And I'll tell you what, a lot of those were from meeting me in person. So going to those events, I've talked a lot about the value of conferences and meeting people, holding meetups. I did a whole series on the value of meetups and how to create them on your own. I mean, people are meeting me that way and then reading the blog and staying connected with the podcast at least long enough to take the survey. Just interesting to note. Next question. Which of my subject categories do you enjoy the most? We have exactly a tie for first, personal development and online business, which those are two topics that I'm pretty passionate about. So developing yourself, you can't get anywhere if you stay where you are. If you're not focused on personal development, you're going to be stuck in that rut and you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to achieve anything more than you've already achieved. Sorry, guys. You have to focus on personal development. I like that people are saying that they are interested in online business because that's what I want. That's what I know. That's how I have, instead of, when I got fired, you can listen to that if you go to empoweredpodcast.com/49. Ashley interviews me, my wife, and we talk all about it. It is probably, I think, the second most downloaded episode ever of the show. So if you want to, it's what I know. That's the process. Had I not started blogging and doing the podcast when I did, I would have had to gone and applied, groveled, begged for another job somewhere else. And I didn't have to do that. And thankfully, it's because of the blog and podcast. Now, honestly, I'm not making nearly as much as I was while I was at Dell. I was really successful there. But it's not a struggle, challenge. I'll be honest with you. I try to be very transparent. It's been a challenge to build a business completely from scratch around a product that's A, not physical, and B, doesn't already have a brand associated with it. If I had set up Ellory's Tech Depot or Ellory's electronics store and started selling PlayStations, that's a physical thing, and I can borrow the reputation and the brand of Sony, then do that. So if you want to build a business like I have built, or better said, am currently building, you've got to start building a brand and getting some brand equity around whatever name you choose to go with, possibly your name or someone else. Start now. Start yesterday. It's like the Chinese saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Yeah. 45% productivity, 40% my personal stories. People like reading about me, which is cool. And I think that's true. Just another side note for you. People know, like, and trust you. People will be friends with you just like they are in the real world, offline. We're friends with the people we're friends with because we like the same things. We dislike the same things. We talk about and have that have common interests. And when you share those on your blog or in your podcast, people want to know that. And if you're not doing that, add some more personality into what you're doing, because that's how you connect with people offline. It's the exact same way people are going to connect with you online. They like reading about my podcasting, leadership, personal branding, let's see. So the question was, which of my subject categories do you enjoy the most? Your integrity in the content you deliver. Thank you. Have only heard the ones I checked. Well, I don't know which ones you checked, so thank you. Nothing. Well, thanks. I like reading about nothing. Well, why are you here? What do you like most about my blog and or podcast? So these are all responses. So I love the blog because, and just in disclosure, stick around because we're going to get to the reasons why people don't like it. So it's not all just fun and games for me either. I love the blog because Ellory is open and shares knowledge. I love the blog because of the practical advice. I love the blog because lots of info to put into immediate action. Yes, I love quick wins because I relate to the content. You are who you are, and good info. It's encouraging. I like encouraging because you can't make a positive change with a negative attitude. I love the blog because when I get a chance to read it, it's always a good time investment, something I'm going for, because I haven't really because I haven't really explored your blog because I'm always on the go. Well, you should be one of those people who reads it on your mobile device. Just saying. It's updated regularly. Yeah, I've kind of been slipping on that the last couple of months, so sorry about that. It's available when I need to reference back to it. Perfect. I haven't read it. Okay. Help on what to do when starting a business. So much to get out there, learning to write a good blog. Excellent. I love your blog because your unique perspective. And again, guys, that is what I'm talking about on the things that we know, like, and trust. or that we like people, we know, like, and trust people because of their perspectives, their opinions, and those kinds of things. So there's evidence. Great tips, helpful tips. I love the blog because confusing. I don't know what they mean. There's a lot of vital information. I love hearing your personal stories. I love your blog because to help find my way on to an online business. You're really vulnerable and authentic. Thank you. I do my best. You make it very personal, but in a way that I can associate with and apply to my own business and situations. Now, I want to jump in here real quick as well. I spend a lot of time proving that I'm a real person. Maybe too much, or maybe it's not enough. I don't know. But at a time in a world where anybody can be online and claim things, whether they're true or not, and make false accusations isn't the right word at all. Make false bravado, make false boasts, say things that aren't true. I spend a lot of time saying, hey, this is me. This is real mistakes and everything. It's something that I put a lot of time and effort into. So the fact that this person said that, I really appreciate that. And again, I would encourage you to do the exact same thing. I can hear Ellory's voice in my head as I read. It reminds me of Dave Ramsey. Yes! That's a good thing. By the way, Dave Ramsey has the Dave Ramsey Show, so thank you to who said that. It's usually a quick read and focuses on one specific topic. I learn actionable tips. You are uniquely real and actually helpful. Thank you. You write content that I can easily relate to and use. You have done a really good job of showing your interest in my personal success. Hey, I'll tell you what. Anything that I can do within reason to help you not have to go back to a job that you hate, I will help you do it. You just have to let me know what it is. That's why I'm writing the book Exit Strategy. If you want to be part of the launch team, and if you have not signed up to get updates, go to theexitstrategybook.com. theexitstrategybook.com. The whole idea is to do what this person says. Where'd it go? You have done a really good job of showing your interest in my personal success. I want you to be success. I want you to be successful. I'm not going to define what success looks like for you, but I want to remove all of those obstacles and roadblocks that are standing between you and your definition of success. I was miserable at my corporate job, and I don't want, if that's you, I don't want you to go back into that environment another day than you have to. It may take a lot of work, but I want you to be happy. I want you to send me pictures, and like I sometimes post on Facebook and Instagram saying, hey, this is me chilling out on the back porch working out, and I love where I work and what I do. I want you to send me those pictures, and I want to help you do that. I love the blog because it's easy to understand and apply to real life. It's good, genuine, with a real voice, helpful information that cuts to the chase. It is as if you are speaking to me. It's improved my life. That is awesome. Thank you for everyone who has taken the survey and gave me those wonderful responses. We're about to get to the how can I make it better section, so maybe I will be eating my own words. I love the podcast, and by the way, more people answered the blog question than the podcast. So by, I don't know what percentage that is. So just saying. You should know, if you're creating content from multiple mediums, you should know where people are most active through Google Analytics, through tracking pretty links, anything like that. You need to know. I love the podcast because Ellory's content is useful because of the guests you interview, great interviews. The topics are interesting, relevant, and easy to listen to. The podcast itself is put together very well. Thank you, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I started the Empowered Podcast. I have a better idea going into the Ellory Wells Show, so if you're listening to this on the Ellory Wells Show, you hopefully you agree with that comment. Same as above. Well, let's see. What was his answer? They answered on May the 20th. You are who you are. Good info. Same thing. So that's encouraging. And this person said it's encouraging, meaning my podcast. So thank you. Same deal. Plus, you focus in on actionable steps for the starting entrepreneur more than most I listen to. and integrate tech tutorials. Heck yeah, I do. I love tech, man. You provide honest stories that I can relate to. I love the podcast because you have interesting guests and content. I like listening to your take on things. That's that personal opinion. That's that know, like, and trust. We like people who like what we like kind of thing. I haven't listened to it. Great host. Well, thank you. Interviews, confusing. I wonder if that's the same guy who said, hold on, I'm going to open this in a new tab. I think this person there was one person who took the survey and just said blah. The male 18 to 24, I'm picking on this guy. Some high school, no diploma. I only read, I don't listen. Found me from searching Google. Which of my subjects you're most interested in? Nothing. I love the blog because confusing. I love the podcast because confusing. They skipped that question. He's active on Facebook, Google, and Instagram. Thanks for adding no value. Sorry. Why do I take the survey if you're not going to answer anything? I love the podcast because it's informative, because I'm a little burned out on interview podcasts, so I prefer the blog. Interesting. The episode you did as a co-host recently and with Ashley have been my favorite. That's that episode 49 I mentioned before. So if you go to the show notes for this episode, you will see a related link to where you can listen to that directly from the same page. Or if you're on your mobile device or whatever, empoweredpodcast.com/49. That's the one with Ashley. The first one with Ashley. We have done 2. Because he's authentic. I don't know who he is. I assume they may think that someone is doing this survey on my behalf. It really shines through. Listening to the struggles and usually successes of others is interesting. It motivates me to keep pushing in my business. Good. It is professionally done. Yes. Hey, professionally done. And check out my book, How to Start Your Professional Podcast for $200 or less. If you want comments like this, it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. I'm just saying. It motivates me to keep pushing. Read that one. It's professionally done. Read that one. It's good, too. Your awesome guests. I love the podcast because of your awesome guests. Don't know how you find them. They are awesome. Yeah, they are. They really are. They really are. So everybody responded to this question. That's not true. Okay. The blog could be better if. If you agree with these, let me know. If you don't agree, also let me know. The blog could be better if. I love the technical aspects of your blog. Keep up the good work. I knew what the latest post was. Yeah, that's important. That's important to me. If there was more personal development and entrepreneurial info, I will agree with that. I wish there was more, but come on. There's gotta be. There's plenty. If you've done and implemented everything on my podcast, or you have heard in my blog, or read on the blog, or listened to the podcast, and you are not moving the needle for yourself, let me know, and I will give you an hour coaching session 100% for free. At any point in the future, and you're listening to this, if you have done everything on my blog, or you have done everything that you have heard on my podcast, and you are not getting results, you let me know. Ellory at ElloryWells.com. You mention this survey so I know where you heard this from, and I will help you. Free coaching, 1 hour on me. Don't know. Well, that's okay. I think the videos are awesome. Well, it's good I'm recording this one then. No recommendations, just question marks. I will check it out after this survey. No opinion. Continue to solve very specific problems. The blog could be better if a hands-on approach is there. Okay. Throw in more personal stories as blog posts. Been a lot of technical stuff lately. Can't argue with that. I will agree. Have a complete newbie section for online business. I'm gonna tease something, and if you are interested in this, if you have watched this video on Facebook or YouTube, or if you have listened to this, let me know your thoughts. I have created most of it, Online Business 101. If you are interested in that, it's a for sale product, but I have theorized Online Business 101, 201, 3, and 401. If that sounds like something that you would be interested in, shoot me an email. Ellory at ElloryWells.com. You should know how to spell that by now. So the blog could be better if, just keep going, man. I will, man. I knew which days you posted. Is there a set schedule? I don't have a suggestion. Keep improving. Not sure I would change a thing. So pretty decent results, other than this guy that just says confusing or skips it. All right. The podcast could be better if more personal development and entrepreneurial info. So that's perfect. If that was your response, stay tuned to the Ellory Wells Show. That's what we're here for. I wanted a little bit more flexibility in format. I wanted a little bit more of my personality to shine through, not just be a intro, interview, outro format. So that's what we're doing here on the Ellory Wells Show with these segments. So more personal development and entrepreneurial info, that's what we're going for. The podcast could be better if, I don't know. I love the podcast. It was a bit shorter, but don't change it just for me. You be you. More question marks. I will listen to it. No opinion. Personally, I like the how-to. Maybe have guests share what the one thing they would first if they were starting over. I'm going to assume they meant one thing they would do first. The podcast could be better if the best episodes don't have a specific format, just conversations, more of these. I would agree. I'll tell you what, beginning podcasters, formatting and structure is great, but I used to get so caught up on the next question I was going to ask or was, quote, supposed to ask, or just the next one that was in my list, that I wouldn't necessarily pay attention to what the guest was saying. I had these questions that were meant to drive the conversation, but what they actually ended up doing, as I got more experience as an interviewer, what they ended up doing was eliminating necessary follow-up questions. Just keep that in mind. The podcast could be better if my sense is that I just want more you in the podcast. Well, thank you. If it could be better if a quick summary with the bullet points were shared at the wrap-up. Okay, so instead of a teaser at the beginning, kind of a wrap up at the end with bullet points. Okay, they didn't answer. That person didn't answer. If it were slightly shorter, I think I'm going to try to make it a little bit shorter. Length is not my goal. I feel like if the content is there, it's okay. Like our favorite books, like one of the Harry Potter books was like 900 pages or 700 pages or something like that, and others were 300 or 400, so they were much shorter. But people devoured them because they loved the material. That's kind of the goal that I have with blog posts and podcast episodes. I do not shoot for 700 words or 800 words or 30 minutes. I'm not going to edit a podcast down from 54 minutes down to 30 minutes or 29 minutes. I know what the average commute length is. I know how much time people spend in the car. TV shows are 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. And if they're not, they just fill it in with time-wasting commercials. So I'm not going to edit out valuable content just to squeeze it into a time slot that I don't feel is appropriate. I'm going to edit out some crap, maybe, or edit out some dead space, or every time I say or something like that. But I'm not going to edit out valuable content that could be that nugget that someone needs to move forward to fit into an hour or a 30-minute time slot. So I'm just saying that. Which social networks are you active on? What are you active on? Just wondering there. Most people, as predicted, are on Facebook, 95% there. 65% of you guys are on Twitter, 62% on LinkedIn. Man, there's no data, there's no analytics, there's no statistics coming out of LinkedIn, so screw them. I'm on there, but whatever. Google Plus, less than half. Pinterest, less than half. Instagram, less than half. And by less than half, we're still talking 40%. I am on Pinterest and Instagram, but you know, they're not major focuses for me. That could also be indicative of my audience mostly being men. So if that's you, if you have not surveyed your audience, by the way, I'm using SurveyMonkey. So it's free. You get 10 questions for free. So you need to be surveying your audience. So if you're not asking them, you should be. I'm not. Mostly email driven. Too many. Third shift is extremely boring. I hear that, man. Actually, I've never been third shift, thankfully. Okay, so final question. What is currently your biggest struggle or challenge? Now, about a third of people skipped this question. Maybe it forced them to think too much, or maybe it was that guy, 18 to 24, some high school or whatever he said, just didn't care enough. I don't know. But this is the question that helps me the most. They all help me for some reason, but this is one that helps me the most. What is currently your biggest struggle or challenge? And if any of these answers connect with you, connect with me. Finding time, getting a website set up, how to get an email list. I don't know if that's build or how to technically do that, but I have been there. Lack of confidence, perhaps fear of failure. I've been there. Fear, making a leap. I've been there. Growing my audience, still doing that. Biggest challenge or struggle, staying motivated and knowing where to start with a new business. Also, fear of putting myself out there. I will tell you, I was terrified to do that episode 49 that I keep mentioning. It is a pivotal moment in my business because I was terrified to do that episode. It was very emotional for Ashley and I to sit there and record it. I was sitting where I am now. She was sitting right over there. And I don't know if she was. I was frightened to do that episode because I thought once I put myself out there and shared my story, which honestly is somewhat, to some degree, a story of failure. I was successful and I got fired from my job. I thought I would lose friends. I thought I would lose credibility. And I thought it sounds kind of goofy maybe hearing it now or even saying it now, but I thought it would be the beginning of a potential end, or it would be a pit that I would have to dig myself out of. It was none of those things. It was probably one of the best things that I've done in my business and my career of working for myself, but putting myself out there in a way, people were coming out of the woodwork saying that was the episode that connected with them and resonated with them the most. I had one person say it was just like her and her spouse or partner sitting there talking. And I've been there. The fear of putting myself out there, I'm right there with you, man or girl. Currently, your biggest struggle or challenge, marketing. Taking the next step in my business and taking it from idea to creation. I know about that too. I've been there. Still there. Again, every time I come out with a new product, like the Online Business 101, for example, is that an idea or is it a product? Getting an online business started while bringing home the bacon and or helping my bride get her business going so that one of us can bring me, quote, home. It's an honorable goal. My biggest struggle or challenge is I haven't nailed down my focus area, but the 30-day blog transformation helps. I like what you've done with the membership site. Keep crushing it. So that's from Ashley. I know who that is. Not my wife, Ashley, someone else. So I did a free course. If you go to ellerywells.com/30days, 30days, you can enroll in a free blogging course. It's to help you go from blog to business. It's somewhat basic, but it's out there, and there's a private Facebook group that you can get invited to. It's good stuff. My biggest challenge? Building my personal brand in such a way that people are asking for me to the point I have to pass business off to my friends. Okay, I think that's a good thing. Finding people who want to sell their house. So many people are moving to Austin and nobody wants to sell. Oh, so what? Maybe you should focus on builders. I don't know. There's people that are selling all the time, man. I don't know if that was you. There are houses. There's two right over here, or there's one right over here that's they don't ever go for sale. They go from coming soon to sold. And I'm in Round Rock. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I am, but I'm near IKEA, and houses are selling in days. So maybe you should focus on quick, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe you need to make the right people or do some more advertising so you are the front of the line. Because if you're people aren't waiting to sell, I could probably put our house up for sale right now, make 25% above what we bought it for, and sell it. I don't know. I would bet 72 hours, just from what I've seen my neighbors doing. So just throwing that out there. Your current biggest challenge or struggle? Focusing on what I want and getting there. Boom. Yes. Challenge with getting started with a website. I think I'm your guy. If you go to ellorywells.com/how to start a blog, no dashes, or start a blog, one of the two, you will find how to do that. Life, single wage earner trying to make it while being broke and full of no time to commit to anything. Hey, I'll tell you what, tough love time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. You, me, Bill Gates, Mark Cuban, and the homeless guy on the street. We all have the exact same time during the day. It's just what we choose to do with it. Every time I go into the game room over there and turn on my PlayStation or Xbox, I am choosing to not work. You are choosing to go to work, and you might have really excellent reasons to do that. Like the person who responded for you. You got to be the wage earner. That was you. Sorry. You want to be the one who wants to come home. You're choosing to do what you're doing. You may be exhausted, but you're choosing to go to sleep. You're choosing to take an hour for lunch instead of, you could probably wolf down some stuff in like 6 or 7 minutes and spend 53 minutes reading, writing, or doing something else. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, because I've been there. I used to eat my lunch really fast and sit in a conference room and read, and then drag myself back to my cubicle. But I would do that. I would not go out with friends. I skipped vacations. We had staycations. I would get up 3 hours before I went to work, go to work, be miserable, work during my lunch hour, come home, eat dinner, and then Ashley would sit downstairs and watch TV or something, and I would come back into this room that I'm in right now and work until midnight. You're choosing to do something. And again, they may be fantastic things you're choosing to do. Spending time with your kids, investing in your marriage, going to work, paying the bills. But I bet there's more time that you're wasting than you're willing to admit. My biggest challenge or struggle? Balancing entrepreneur with my day job. Yep. Building a listener base for my podcast and gaining personal employment. Don't look for employment. Start a business. Writing a good blog, marketing, social media, getting on podcasts so people know what I do and how I can help and why you need my help. Focus on why that person's audience gives a crap about who you are and your story. Figure that out, you'll get on more podcasts. Biggest challenge or struggle? Distractions, finding time to do side projects, the talent development of a team, adding email subscribers, so that's building a list. There's 2 people who said that. I'm struggling to earn as much as I desire from my blog. What I earn is peanuts. I want to increase it. Increase your traffic or start selling your own products. Find out what your expertise is. And I've got programs and coaching to help do that. Find out what your expertise is and share that expertise. And now it's sort of a plug for coaching, but it wasn't designed or meant to be. Sometimes you have to invest in yourself to get clarity around your message and figure out what you can sell. Launching my web business, I also need to become more efficient. Yeah, you probably do. We all do. Biggest struggle or challenge, getting a freaking website functionable with the needed web pages, plugins, email gathering software, plugin, follow-up emails after subscribing, lead magnet ideas, and all of the quote stuff needed to go along with that. I think I need a business coach. LOL. Hello. Letting go of my past. Time to make money. I want a $10 product available by the end of Q1. Well, that was, hopefully this person did. They took the survey on January the 7th. So biggest challenge or struggle, making time to focus on the marketing aspect of my business. Mindset, sticking to the plan, need more income and clients. Learning to deal with the setbacks and continuing to push forward. Monetizing our podcast and website. Blogging. I hate blogging, which now tells you who I am. Actually, no, it doesn't. Depression and a sabotaging family and circle of friends. I don't know who that person is, but I had somebody email me and tell me that their spouse was a, quote, albatross around their neck. Might be too late. I'm not an advocate for divorce. Stick it out, work it out, and figure it out. That should be on an Instagram. Stick it out, work it out, and figure it out. But you can change your friends. Holy crap, man. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Change those 5 people. Stop answering their phone calls. Find somebody new who will support you and challenge you, keep you accountable, and encourage you, and stop investing time in crappy people and duds. Maybe that's a mastermind. Maybe it's a free one or a paid one. I have excellent people in my mastermind groups. Stop hanging around with crappy people. My biggest challenge or struggle? Having time to listen to podcasts, read blogs, and learn more while I am also trying to be productive. Last answer, what is currently your biggest challenge or struggle? Starting my own podcast. ElloryWells.com/podcast200. Download the ebook. It's like $8. It'll show you exactly what I do. There's video tutorials. If that was you, you should, if you have not already bought that book, hopefully you started your podcast. If not, you've wasted a year because you didn't want to spend the $8 to buy my book. Or you could join my membership site and get the answer to most of these and get the book for free. Just saying. So that's it. That's the 2015 community survey. And if you want to take part in the 2016 or 2017, whenever you're watching, listening to, or I guess you're not really reading this, go to ElloryWells.com/survey. Tell me who you are and what you think, and I want to help you be successful. I want to remove those roadblocks and help you develop a plan, an exit strategy, if you will, so that you can leave a place you are not happy, you are not enjoying life, and move into a place that will make you feel fulfilled and makes you excited to get up in the morning. That's what I want to do. That's my goal, is to help you achieve your goals. As corny as that crap sounds, I mean, motivation is cheap. You can go and you don't even have to buy those posters that hang on your wall with like an eagle and crazy things on them. But the way that I help people is I test, I research, I analyze, I compare and contrast, and then I digest that information and regurgitate it to the people who read the blog, listen to the podcast, watch me on YouTube, who are in my masterminds and coaching. It's just the amount of attention that you want. I've got something for every person along that path. So that's 2015 community survey. If you took it, thank you. If you are listening or reading this or watching this, please go to ElloryWells.com/survey and take it. I hope you have a fantastic day.